Alright, today on I Just Want My Toys, we're going to look at the Mego 2021 release, the Hammer Films, the Reptile, and we're going to compare it to their last female figure they made, the Bride of Frankenstein. This figure was plagued with a whole lot of problems. Did Mego fix those problems, or are we going to have another Bride of Frankenstein on our hands? Let's find out, shall we? Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of I Just Want My Toys. Today, I got a new arrival, just showed up. Came in just from ZLC Collectibles. So let's see what we got today. What I'm hoping it is the Reptile figure. And I'm curious to see because if you remember, this little figure here, Mego's Bride of Frankenstein, one of their last female figures they produced, was plagued with a lot of problems. What problems, you may ask? We're going to get to it and show you and see today. So let's get to it. Alrighty. So, what do we have in the package today? Well, the nice folks at ZLC Collectibles sent me a replacement Green Lantern. Talk about great customer service. They sent me a replacement Green Lantern for the trouble I had with the very terrible Green Lantern from Mego. So that was really incredibly nice of them. But here is the figure from this week's Wave 13. The Mego rendition of the Reptile from Hammer Horror. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get this right off the bat. Take a look at this right here. See this dress? It's a green patterned dress. What do you notice here? That is correct. Reuse of, what did I do with her? The 2018 Wicked Witch dress. Same puffy sleeves. Same cinch at the waist. But if you don't believe me, let's open her up and let's see what we got. Alright, so here we are and we're going to take a look at these two figures. And let's start off first by going over what we hope does not happen. Mego, Bride of Frankenstein. Last female figure produced by Mego. The Michael Burnham figure was produced before this, and it was very problematic for a female action figure. So now we're going to see just how bad this one can be. And I'll point out the flaws on this once I get her undressed. So the whole world will know exactly what's what. All right, let's give it a go. The main inherent problems with this figure, and this is my second one, because I had to buy another one, just because the first one, when I opened it up, the arm here was broke off. So that didn't make me happy at all. But this one has the same problems as the other, and that is quite simply what do you see here are the problems? It doesn't stop there. Excuse me. Ankles, knees, close up on those knees. This is a repainted flesh-colored body. Now, I have to ask, why? Why do we have a repainted flesh-colored body when, plentifully enough, 2018 Wicked Witch is totally crafted out of green plastic? Hello. Why? Makes no sense. Makes utterly no sense. And that's black dye from the dress that you're seeing on the arm. Same on the other arm, because as we know, these dresses, anything black that's been produced by Mego, for that matter, leaks dye, black dye, all over into the plastic of the figure. Something else that should be addressed, but it's not as big a concern as why? So, now I'm going to also point out a couple other things. This bride is actually a lot better than my other bride that's in parts right now, because not only did the arm break, which of course the band meant that, hey, both arms are off, but the other thing that also happened was that the paint flaked off at the arms here, and then you can see that if you do any bending on it, I'm going to show you close there. I'll show you in the second shot camera. The paint flakes off whenever you flip the wrists. It also flaked off on the other one, on the elbows as well. Because when I unwrapped it to try to fix the arm, that's when I saw all the paint come off. Again, why? Why? So, with all that in mind about the bride, crossing fingers, the reptile is not going to be that way. So let's give it an opening up and let's see what we got, shall we? And I'm going to take this part to shot out ZLC Toys. or sorry, ZLC Collectibles, where I get all my action figures from. Guys do a great job helping me enjoy the hobby. Right. Green dress, black dress. Green dress, black dress. I'm just saying. Okay. We're going to bring the witch back here for a second. Reuse in action figure lines happens. It's nothing that everybody in the world who's ever had or bought any action figure ever has never seen reuse, and it's not a problem most times. But for this figure, same pattern of dress would be fine. Different color dresses would have been perfect. Black, supposed to be green. Black, supposed to be green. Arms, waist, exact same dress. All right, now for the moment of truth. Here we go. Well, looks like we finally got our act together. And yes, again, black material, dye stains everywhere. But we actually have a molded green body. So maybe somebody woke up and realized that, hey, you can actually make green action figures again. At the ankles. Backside of knees. Hips. Ball in the center. So, we'll definitely give points that somebody's not sleeping at the wheel again, and the actual figure was made with green plastic. Now, why couldn't we get a green dress on top of that? Again, reuse happens in action figure lines. However, there's no call for not having her in a green dress. None whatsoever. It makes the figure look rushed. It makes the figure look like there wasn't any thought into it. People go, well, what about the head sculpt? They actually made a decent head sculpt. Okay, let's talk action figure aesthetics for a minute. When you're not a fan of a particular character and you go to the store and you go to buy an action figure. 9 times out of 10, 3 things will influence you to do an impulse buy for a figure that you don't know anything about, never been exposed to the figure character in any media because just it's not in your wheelhouse, and 3, because you're out buying toys and you want to buy something cool. When you look at this and it's on the shelf, card art, not really attractive, not really draws you in. I've seen this movie. I know this character. A gothic house, a gothic dining room with candelabra, rug. Yes, immediately makes me think of the movie. Immediately makes me think of the Reptile. Look at the back of the card art. Okay, yeah, I know who this character is. Great, perfect. But when I look at this, I go, wait a minute. What's wrong with this picture? And if I know the character, I'm putting this back. Now, granted, I bought this sight unseen. I bought this and pre-ordered this sight unseen, just based upon the fact that I knew the character and I wanted the character in my collection. But black dress, reuse of the witch dress, I'm not impressed. Not at all. Reuse does happen, but it doesn't have to happen this early. Use the pattern, change the material. Use the pattern, change the material. Even if you had to use all of this black material because you are overstocked with this black material, there's a simple thing you could have done to got it to look more closer to the actual character. A simple screen print of this pattern, the ridged pattern throughout the dress in green over the black, would have made it look much closer to the actual figure. Okay, let's talk about the figure because we could spend all day about correcting mistakes. As far as posability, figure poses well. It's the standard female Mego body that has been in existence for aeons. So it poses well. The fact that it's crafted out of true green plastic goes well with it. Monster hands would have been more preferable than the female Mego hands. Something that easily could have been done and put onto this figure. Monster hands definitely would have sold it. In fact, you could use monster hands from the old Mego monster hand mode, which are a lot smaller than the current monster hands that we have for the Draculas and Frankensteins currently now. And that would have been perfectly sized, done in green plastic, would have looked really cool for the character. I don't know. I mean, there's, little things that you could do all day to make this figure worth the cost of admission, as they say. The head sculpt was done, of course, by Sean Sampson, who does a lot of the monster head sculpts. And it's not a bad head sculpt. It's passable for the reptile. Yeah, it's a passable sculpt. He could have had the forked tongue sticking out slightly. But, I mean, it's passable for what it is. That's me getting her into the second camera shot so everyone can see that head sculpt. Like I said, it's passable. Just a little bit more work into it, I think, but overall, I like the figure. I'm just not 100% in love with the figure. To be in love, it would have to be the green dress, or at least some attempt to make it the green dress. So, but I am happy that it does have actual green plastic, and it's not a fiasco like the Bride of Frankenstein. Or we should say the bride who got a bad spray tan, a horrible spray tan. Yeah, the reptile is taken aback by the way that the bride looks from her horrible spray tan. Ah, get away! The witch joins in too. Ah, get away! Over to camera 2 so you can see this shot. Just goofing around, having fun. But if you decide to buy the reptile, at least you know that, dress aside and the minor quibbles on the head sculpt aside, it's a pretty decent figure. You may think it's great. You may think it's 100% perfect. If Nika ever makes one, you're going to be totally flabbergasted. But at the price point, which everybody keeps saying, at the price point, it should be a decent figure. You should consider it a decent figure. No. Anybody can and should push companies to make the best figures they can, period. That's just flat out how I feel. Make the best figures you can. I would rather you make the best figures you can, and if you have to raise the price because it cost you so much to make the best figure you could, so be it. That's just how I feel. But I'm going to look into doing something about this dress. I'm really just not liking that dress at all. I'll come up with something, I know for sure, that will make it more closer to the green reality it needs to be. Oh my God, what did they do to you? Alright, that's it for this episode. If you like this episode, comment, But if you don't like this episode, comment. Otherwise, like, subscribe. I'll have more reviews coming soon. Again, shout out to ZLC Collectibles, ZLC Collectibles, where I like to get all my Mego action figures from. They are great guys. Love them. Love their excellent customer service. So, until next time, hashtag I just want my toys, hashtag customizing19. I'll leave you with this parting shot. Until next time.